7 Days to Die 2.0 is going to have brand new enemies, an overhaul to the perk system, and a much requested feature is finally making its way to 7 Days to Die. All that and more in today's video, so stay tuned, starting with what I think is the most interesting, those new enemies. First up, we have the Plague Spitter. Now, because we've seen a lot of the Plague Spitter in this news cycle, I'm just going to be brief with it. It looks like this. It spits bugs at you. You hit the bugs with melee weapons, or you can shoot them, but it's better to use melee weapons, and it damages you. They only spawn in the desert biome. Moving on, the Frost Claw is a new snow biome exclusive enemy which throws massive boulders at you and they do a lot of damage. This video on screen was taken on adventurer difficulty, which is reduced damage compared to the standard. So do not get hit with this on any other difficulty. They also said that these zombies could spawn on Horde Night. It'll be interesting to see exactly how that works. Like, will it be biome specific, or are they just going to be part of the Horde now? Also, we've got 2 new game stage classes added to the game. Blue charged zombies are more dangerous than green radiated zombies, and they have even more health, and they are faster. Rick alluded to them being resistant to something you might not expect. However, I'm a very, very smart boy, and I know that in a video game, if you have an enemy called a charged enemy, it's probably going to be immune to electric damage, so probably electric fences and stun batons if I had to guess, but that is just a guess. And then we have the Infernal Zombies, which are a step up even further, which have even more health, are slower, but they do a lot of block damage, and they will rip right through any blocks you put in their way. And yes, they are going to spawn on Horde Nights at high game stages. Apparently these will also have resistances that might surprise you. Again, putting my biggest, strongest thinking cap on, I think the Infernal Zombies are probably immune to fire, and I don't think that's going to have a major part to play in how they work, if that's true. The perk overhaul is quite interesting as well. Every single perk in 7 Days to Die, bar a few, are now 5 ranks, and the few that aren't are now in their own tab called the General tab. I won't keep you in suspense. They are Light Armor, Medium Armor, Heavy Armor, Master Chef, Living Off the Land, Lockpicking, and Lucky Looter. These are all perks that the devs had feedback on from the community that most people want to use them at least a little bit, and so now they don't have an attribute governing them, so you can just go ahead and take those whenever you want in every playthrough. We also saw 1 new perk added to Perception, which is Perception Mastery. I'll go more over the Mastery perks in a bit. We only saw the effects of one and we didn't see Perceptions, so moving on to Strength. We have Junk Miner and Grand Slam. We do not know what they do, along with Strength Mastery. And Fortitude, we have Siphon Strikes, which make it so that you leech health from zombies when you kill them up to 10 at max level, but only with melee attacks to be clear, along with a Fortitude Mastery perk as well. And in Agility, we have Hard Target, no idea what it does, and the Agility Mastery perk. Now this is one we do know exactly what every rank does. With rank 1, which is unlocked at Agility 6, you can get 40% chance to instantly cripple enemies with leg attacks. Rank 2, you can reload handguns 20% faster. At rank 3, you can cause bleed with handguns. Rank 4, you can dodge 1 enemy attack every 60 seconds, and by dodge I just mean it won't do damage to you, but of course there's a cooldown of 60 seconds. And the final rank is bows deal 25% more damage and ignore armor when fully drawn. That's a big buff to bows. It sounds like that maybe doesn't affect crossbows, so we may see a big uptick in specifically the power of bows in this update. These ranks are all unlocked at 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 agility, and we can probably expect similar things from all the other mastery perks. We didn't get a look at intellect at all, so I have no news for you there, but we do know that it has at least lost lockpicking. And the much requested feature making its way finally into 7 Days to Die is bandits. Just kidding, of course it's not. It's actually new food and water models. Now I'm taking the piss here, but this is something people have been asking for a very long time, and it includes new models that can be seen in your hand, along with new animations for various different types of foods and drugs as well. We saw an animation for eating canned food, animations for taking pills, and animations for injecting steroids. Also, they have new hotbar and inventory icons as well. Also, sledgehammers are now going to have their own skill book. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. You get extra knockdown chance, degradation reduction, power attacks slow enemies, 25% more damage to enemies who are already low. An interesting one is double XP from headshot kills, that's quite fun, and a 10% chance to knock enemies unconscious. ignore armor, and you can refill stamina with power attack kills, which is pretty standard for most melee weapons these days. On to the more meh things that are probably still pretty impactful, but those were the more exciting and positive things I had to tell you. First, we have biome progression, and everything I say in this biome progression segment can be completely toggled in the main menu if you so wish. You will now have a much harder time going into new biomes. For example, in the burned forest biome, you have 3 minutes before it starts to choke you out, and you'll die pretty quickly if you don't leave. You'll be given an alert at the bottom of your screen saying that thick smoke chokes the air, or other biome appropriate messages. There are ways to get around it. First of all, every biome has a new drink that you can make, which extends the timer you have before the biome starts affecting you. And you can do a bunch of different challenges to eventually become immune to that biome's effects. For example, we know in the burned forest biome, you need to wear a piece of non-primitive armor, harvest some mushrooms, make a burnt smoothie, harvest some nitrate, kill burned zombies, loot containers in the burned forest, and survive 20 minutes in the biome. With that, you can go to a trader, get a new badge, and you will be completely immune to the environmental effects of the burned forest biome. This will have to be repeated for each of the biomes in the game, except for the forest, of course, where you can survive just fine. But there is also the new biome stage loot cap, which basically means that loot stage is going to be capped per biome, so that you have to leave the forest to get better loot, and eventually you'll have to leave the burned forest if you want better loot, and so on. You get it until only low tier gear is found in the forest and only high tier gear is found in the wasteland. Still, as a part of this biome progression thing, by the way, we have dynamic storms. Outside of the forest biome, you will get an alert occasionally that a storm is coming in and you need to take cover, and it'll have a big sound alert as well, and you'll have 60 seconds before it starts to cause you problems. Then you're going to periodically take damage until you take cover inside a building, and these get much more severe as the biomes progress. Again, these are all completely toggleable as part of biome progression if you don't like them. And the badges that you get for each biome completion don't affect your immunity to the storms. The storms are always going to be a danger. Which brings us to the new zombie crawlout mechanics. Basically, they have given all the zombies the player's crouch animation, and they can use it to go through 1x1 holes. Worth noting, of course, that it is the same animation as the player, but you can't go through 1x1 holes. This information is provided with no additional opinion attached. Apparently, this mechanic has been implemented into a lot of tier 4s and 5s, and is going to affect a lot of horde bases. Also, zombies can now wander much more frequently in POIs than they did before, which is to say, they almost never did it, so now you'll actually see it. There are 3 new tier 5 wilderness POIs coming to the game: the quarry, the mine, and some kind of underground government facility. I know, an underground government facility in 7 Days to Die? Whatever will they think of next? There's also 140 new POIs coming in general, but we did see that a huge amount of these are going to be things like caves and filler buildings for the burned forest biome, which is a bit lame, but it will add a bit more flavor to the world at least. We also have the new cosmetic system. You can unlock cosmetics by scrapping the original item, and you will now be able to apply that armor's look to any other piece of armor in the game. So if you scrap a biker helmet, you can make your primitive helmet look like a biker helmet. This is also going to be how they implement Twitch drops and paid DLC cosmetics. We saw 3 new armors in the cosmetics window, but they didn't actually show us them, but don't worry, they've actually showed us these in full years ago. They were originally going to be part of the armor overhaul and they took them out. Here's what they look like, and there is going to be a new quest marker, which looks like basically an electric beacon of some kind with a flag on it. They've also confirmed that crossplay on dedicated servers is coming in the next update. However, Bandits and Steam Workshop are still TBD. They've also said that they were thinking of adding new weapons and weapon types, which is interesting because they were very resistant to that previously. Evidently, they've gone back on that. Maybe with how difficult the new zombies are, they've had some ideas. Also, there's been some random gen improvements. Roads are apparently better, sub-biomes allow for clearings and more dense foliage areas in the world at apparently no cost for performance, and I noticed that the terrain looked a little bit more interesting in general as well. And finally, there is upscaling added to the video settings in at least the PC version of the game. I don't know if that's going to be on console. Console players, let me know, do you normally have upscaling? I haven't played a console in a very long time, so I don't know. I know what you're wondering though. When is this coming out? Well, I addressed that in this video coming on the screen now. Give it a click to find out when it's coming out and what else is coming in it that wasn't covered in this dev stream. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.